I saw this movie 4 times in the theaters. That's how much I love this movie. Okay, some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. If you like John Wick, you'll probably really enjoy this movie. This is actually from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. Weird title, terrible title. I think they should have called it Eve Macarro or whatever her last name was, Eve. That would have made more sense. But a lot of people heard the name Ballerina. It's all, oh, no, I don't see a movie about a ballerina. It's not the type of ballerina you're thinking about. This is a woman who was raised by assassins, okay? Eve was raised by assassins. She's played by Ana de Armas. I really love this actress. And essentially she's raised by assassins after she loses her father. Her father is murdered. She's raised by assassins, and she's a part of the same organization that John Wick was a part of. And she is pretty much a protector. She's supposed to protect people, and sometimes she decides, hey, I want to be an assassin. So she goes in that part of it. At one point, she comes across some information about a group that may have been responsible for her father's death. Well, she investigates, despite the fact that people all around her are telling her, hey, this is a bad idea. Well, what happens next is an epic revenge story. And let me just say that she's a petite woman. It's not one of those movies where a petite woman's just able to toss a 250-pound man in the air like that. No way. She gets tossed around by these grown men. She gets punched. She slams into things. There's points where she gets slams into things. She gets tossed into something. It's like, oh man, there's no way a person would be able to get up from that just as like she's able to get up. But you know, it has some entertainment value in that she is, when she gets punch and she's taking on her adversaries, she's not Superwoman. So for me, that made the movie a lot more interesting. And you know, they call it ballerina because even though she was raised by assassins, she was actually trained as a ballerina, but by the same organization. But anyway, the title is misleading, but the movie has great action. And I like how they handle some of the sequences. Like, for example, they show one part where she has already killed a bunch of people, and then she gets paid and she walks through the carnage that she's created. You know, she collects her knives that she's stuck into these various guys. That's pretty cool. The grenade scene is absolutely incredible. It really hits. If you have a great sound system, you're really going to benefit from that. Even if you have a mediocre sound system, some crappy sound system, you're still going to really enjoy that, as long as it's not just the television speakers. The flamethrowing sequence. Yeah, that was worth the price of admission. I haven't seen anything quite like that ever. And yes, John Wick himself appears in this movie, and it's not just some 1-minute cameo. He actually plays an important part of this film and the outcome of the story. The biggest difference between her and John Wick is that John Wick was always trying to get away from the world of assassins. He was always trying to pull away from it, at least throughout the movies, the John Wick movies. And he sort of gets pulled into the mess. Whereas Eve, she is desperate to actually join this world, even before she gets involved in this big fight. In fact, she actually walked up to John Wick in this movie and actually, you know, like a fangirl. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but that's a really fascinating perspective to go from a character assassin who is trying to lead the world to a young woman who's trying to become the assassin. And that's a really interesting dynamic. And they don't make John Wick look ridiculous or anything like they probably would in another franchise. It's respectful to both characters. I like the way it's handled. It's practical. It's realistic. I don't think you're going to complain about it. I mean, by realistic, I mean by movie standards, okay? The punishment she takes in this movie, she should have been dead by the end of the first act. But, you know, at least there's consequences. At least it's not like your typical female-led action movie where she's just tossing people and she's invincible and it's just really, she's obnoxious and lame. It's not like that, fortunately. I'm glad there's some special features on here, and it does come with the actual Blu-ray, the 4K and the Blu-ray. So that's pretty good right there. It has some special features, which is, I think, appropriate. They have a making of, they have a building, a frozen underworld. They have several features, some deleted scenes, which I'm happy to see right here. They need to do that. This movie apparently took a long time to really make, and they had to do a bunch of reshoots, and that's why it ended up being so expensive, and that's why it wasn't really a box office success, because they had to make a whole lot of money to overcome the fact that it was reshot. But I think it's doing really well in streaming, or really well. So I really appreciate this movie. I hope you guys take the time to check it out. If you have it on streaming, if you like it a lot, I could definitely recommend buying this Ballerina. For me, it's like I give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. It doesn't have the most complex story, but I just love this movie. 8.5 out of 10. Love it. Check it out on Blu-ray or 4K.